Sousa Show. Sports, team.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. And that's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated with style and durability. You can trust Tervis tumblers to keep your drinks the perfect temperature, hot or cold, for hours. From the classic insulated tumblers to sleek stainless steel water bottles, each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Since our founding, we've been revolutionizing hair removal with cutting-edge technology and a commitment to empowerment. The U-Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. Experience the future of hair removal today at ulike.com, because at Ulike, beauty is about looking and feeling good. That's ulike.com. Ulike. With Ease US, make studio-quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects, featuring 468 natural AI voices. Customize the volume, mood, and pauses to perfectly match your content. Plus, capture high-quality videos with no watermark. Record your screen, webcam, and voice, and save them instantly to your computer. Never been easier to create professional-grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US.
Just use AMP-Pace.
AMP-Pace.
Here we go now. The Pete Sousa Show. On a Wednesday morning, we are live from the Alico building. I'm feeling refreshed. Scotty is alongside us. He is too. Mike Hamilton's up here. We got the whole family. The Rogue Media family is very strong, and we're constantly evolving, conquering new territory. I don't know what's coming next, but it's good because it's all incoming. 7,000 subscribers we surpassed yesterday, up to like 7,100. Thank you guys so much for watching and for being a part of it. This has just been a phenomenal evolution here. We got, if you watch daily, you know we got plenty of work to do. But it's been a lot of fun. Thank you so much to Slovacics, Daniel Stark Injury Lawyers, Crawford Austin Properties, Socorro Family Ford, and of course, First National Bank of Central Texas, looking to get involved, do more stuff with our man Dan Ingham as we get rolling towards the football season, but a little bit of time between now and then. Of course, the Rogue High School football package, for a lack of a better word or terminology. Get in touch with Scotty if you want to sponsor it, but there's a lot going down. Also, we got a lot going down. Just some breaking news into the old Rogue Media newsroom. We need to create a newsroom which nobody can sit in and can waste some space. So Jeff Olbricht, right, his son was the one who made the prank call. He has been the Falcons. Let me get this right, because you know what happens when you click on the goddamn alerts, then you lose them. So I like half clicked on it. Let's see here. Anyways, there was a fine that was $250,000, and it was just released. Jeff Olbricht, if you remember, he was the assistant coach last year with the Jets, and then became the head coach. And it's a bummer for all that happened. Scotty, can you get any news on this? I'm like losing my mind here. I'm looking. I just saw the breaking news. Sorry. I mean, look, dude. I'm sorry. I just had the story. It's here. Let's see the Jeff Olbricht AP. Hang in there with us, folks. Okay. I don't have anything yet, so we'll have to wait. We'll have to wait as this continues to develop. I had it on my alert, and then I lost it. So I guess we'll get to that next. We got to move on. We try to keep rapid pacing going here. The first thing I wanted to talk about till I got news of that fine. I saw $250,000, but I did want to begin talking about Tyrese Haliburton and his father last night. There was, honestly, in the spirit of honesty, I didn't even watch the game. Okay, I was watching the Knicks and the Pistons, which was like an awesome game, and I saw on my ESPN alerts that I swear that one at least I didn't click on and have it disappear, but I saw that the Pacers went on a furious 8-0 run at the end of the game. And it was capped off by a Tyrese Haliburton game winner. So Haliburton wins the game. It's like the most amazing moment. Remember now, earlier this week or late last week, there was an anonymous poll taken by NBA players, and they said that Tyrese Haliburton was the most overrated player in the NBA. Okay? Last night, 26 points. We talked about he hit the game winner, 10 of 22 from the floor. And now the Bucks move on, or excuse me, the Pacers move on. They beat the Bucks 4-1. And now if you're the Bucks, it's like, you know, kind of like time to rebuild, potentially. And Giannis could be a part of that rebuild. You know, Dame Lillard probably going to be out for all of next year too, because that's like just a demoralizing injury. But at the end of the game, Tyrese Haliburton's dad, and I can provide context on this just from what I know from past years working around sports and calling games and working in the NBA, kind of like how it goes backstage at arenas. But, you know, front of the house after the game is Tyrese Haliburton's dad. And he's literally on the floor holding up, I guess it was a poster that his son had, or a poster of his son, and he's on the floor, and everybody's celebrating over here, okay? And Tyrese Haliburton's dad is in front of maybe one of the best players, definitely one of the best players in the NBA, arguably the best player in the world as of like a couple years ago, and he's holding up a sign of his son, and apparently he's swearing and talking smack to Giannis Antetokounmpo. There's the images right there. Prior to them getting face-to-face like this, like Haliburton's dad, there was like 15 feet in between the two of them. And he was just egging on. Like, in no way, shape, or form did Giannis Antetokounmpo ask for this interaction, right? He was stunned, thinking about, I can't believe we blew this lead. I can't believe our season is over. His hands were on his hips. And then all of a sudden, Tyrese Haliburton's dad comes up on him like Shooter from Hoosiers. I mean, think about it. That's the number one thing that came to my mind was Dennis Hopper and his character being drunk at a game. Nice work, Scotty. And approaching the court, walking onto the court, and they had to usher him out of there because he was supposed to not be drinking, and he showed up. He was the town drunk. So Tyrese Haliburton's dad is now basically Shooter from Hoosiers. And it's to the point, that's a good version of Shooter, right, when he was all cleaned up. So we look forward to seeing that version of Tyrese Haliburton's dad down the stretch in the rest of the playoffs. But that moment for Tyrese, right? I mean, think about the chip on his shoulder throughout this playoff series, especially after that gets announced. Your peers are polled, apparently, and you are named the most overrated player. That's got to piss you off, okay? Especially because the poll, again, conducted by your peers, or allegedly it was. So you take away, you send the world champions as of 2-3 years ago, you send them home. Okay, Giannis and one of the best players in basketball, and you're feeling triumphant, and then you're talking to Pat McAfee on FaceTime in the locker room. It's like a really great moment for Tyrese Haliburton. Indianapolis has adopted that dude, right? A guy from the Midwest who, Big 12, right, started Iowa State, but clearly is having a really wonderful NBA career. And then you at some point get hit with news that your dad, again, rolled onto the court like Shooter from Hoosiers and kind of ruined the moment for you. And in the press conference, Tyrese has to go on the record and say, what my dad did was out of line. Not like, there's two ways to look at it, right? I'm not a therapist, but that's a bummer, right? In your biggest moment ever, you're apologizing for your father. My dad wasn't perfect, but I never had to worry about him in the middle of the field, in the middle of Prevost Field, after we had a huge win against Newman Goretti in the semifinals to get in the Catholic League Championship. My dad was ever holding up a poster of me, egging on a member of the opposite team, Greg Yotis from Father Judge. Hey, like, you suck. Like, it's really kind of crazy to think about it. So that's just kind of a bummer for Tyrese, but good to see the Pacers move on. Some context to this, right? Now, I do want to make a point. If this was me or Scotty, okay, we would never be allowed, and let's say we were credentialed media, we would never be allowed back in the building again. Like, it's kind of crazy, and it's not like, Tyrese Haliburton's dad isn't going up to a member of the Pacers and celebrating with him. He's starting a fight with Tyrese Haliburton, with Giannis Antetokounmpo. And if Giannis Antetokounmpo is Steven Jackson circa 2004, like, this might be a bloodbath. This might be a much different story this morning. Giannis is class personified. But how does this happen, right? Apparently this dude is a great guy. This is courtesy of Brian Windhorst this morning. Apparently this dude is a great guy. So he is friendly with everybody. You go to 80 or 41 home games plus preseason plus postseason now, right? And you've been doing this for years because your son's a part of the organization. You're basically like family with the folks that work security. Everybody knows you as Tyrese Haliburton's dad. You're getting way more grace than the average fan. And that in itself can become a problem. In the back of the house, like I mentioned, there's probably not a VIP room that Tyrese Haliburton's dad can't walk right into. There's probably almost no place he can't go. And they're probably very friendly with him. Again, and that's cool. It's like a family atmosphere. But now, you got a situation where after the game, there's celebration. Tyrese Haliburton's dad slips through security, and now he's standing at center court, like arguing with one of the best players in the world about how good his son is. This doesn't make any sense to me. But it's what happens. So I think he should get like a slap on the wrist, kind of fine. I think it's crazy that I do think it's funny. Like, I watched a little First Take today. They're talking about it like it's the Kennedy assassination, which is also like kind of wild, like Molly is like clutching her pearls and Stephen A. And honestly, the one guy who I love on that crew is Brian Windhorst. because he's just kind of like, hey, here's the story. He's a good dude. I've actually traveled the world with him. Apparently, Wendy must have covered the Olympic team, right? And so he's gotten close. What's that face for?
Morley, Tyrese Haliburton is class personified. He's great for this league. But there is no reason his dad should be on the court in Giannis's face.
If there's anybody who should be fighting with players courtside, it's me. With LeBron James. You know, it's like, okay. Steve.
And at least I have the dignity to stay on the sidelines.
Yeah.
I didn't ask for that.
But that was a wild scene, dude. A wild scene to a game. Now, I mentioned I want to do something, and this is like a little home cooking, but I got to do it. I got to do this, okay? I've talked to you guys. I've mentioned he's been on the show, our buddy Matt Devlin. Now, Matt Devlin has been a mentor in my life, a play-by-play mentor, and a friend for going back 20 years now. When I was working for the Charlotte Bobcats, the Hornets, whatever, I was PR. Matt was our TV guy, and he took me under his wing. He did NFL games on Fox. He would have me travel with him. I was a horrible driver. I would spot for him. We got stories for days. When I went to rehab, Matt totally had my back and was very supportive. He was probably very happy that he had an opportunity to find a better spotter for his football games. But, here we are 13 years later. Matt is still a huge part of my life and a huge part of my story. And he's just a real wildly positive influence. And by the way, the dude can call a basketball game, right? Like play-by-play his ass off. So Matt used to get tapped to do a lot of national playoff games, especially when he was with the Hornets because we weren't any good. Okay, so the Hornets wouldn't make the playoffs. So Matt was in that rotation with TNT where he would call games, national games, after the Hornets or Bobcats at the time the season was over because there was never going to the playoffs. The way the NBA works in America is you call the first round of the playoffs. Your local TV folks can call the first round. After that, you're done. You turn it over to the national guys. In Canada, it's different. As far as your team goes, the Raptors right now, that's the only team, they call the game. So Matt was calling the NBA Finals for all of Canada when, I guess it was 2019 when the Raps won the championship. So obviously he's working through the end of June. So he can't do any national games. Well, now the Raptors obviously not very good, right? No shot at Jacoby Walter or Jamal Shedd, who are two of our favorite Big 12 alums starring with the Raptors now. But Matt now has an opportunity to do national games again. And this is the last sequence. Now, there's a lot of things that I've learned in my play-by-play education, right? You hear a lot of things, document the game, score and time. And this is even for television because we're talking about a clutch situation. Fran Fraschilla has told me to do this. I don't do this enough. It's almost intimidating how good Matt is at it. Down the stretch, the game, as a play-by-play guy, the game is yours. You take the game over. You take the keys, you get into the car, you are driving us home. And it's not like an ego deal, and it's not a control deal. It's the way it is because you need to let the fan know in such a critical moment exactly where we are with this game. So I want you guys to take a listen to how Matt kills this call. From the very beginning, Matt's got a big-time voice too, and he's just big-time. This is the kind of voice that I grew up listening to and the kind of call that still is timeless today. Listen to his voice when he goes, "Here we go." Take it away, Scotty.
Here we go. Haliburton. 5 seconds. 4 seconds. Haliburton for the lead. 1.3 to go. Pacers by 1. Porter to inbound it. No. Giannis is going to take it now. Here's Gary Trent Jr. Lets it fly. And the Pacers are moving on. What a comeback in overtime by Indiana. 119-118.
All right, let's play one more time.
Here we go. Haliburton. 5 seconds. 4 seconds. Haliburton for the lead. 1.3 to go. Pacers No. Giannis is going to take it now. Here's Gary Trent Jr. Lets it fly. And the Pacers are moving on.
But so there was a lot of stuff there. First of all, you notice how I've learned this too. Like any really good play-by-play guy, you're not afraid to correct yourself in the moment. Like, okay, like it's actually going to be Giannis, which is super important, who's going to be inbounding the ball. You also, as a play-by-play guy, you don't do the score in time like that throughout the game. You could have a casual conversation. Me and Scotty can talk about, how Scotty is a master griller, right? Like during certain parts of the game, the game allows that. You have to let it breathe. There's certain times where you don't talk at all. Again, this is how I've been taught from the great ones, from watching and also from talking. But then, down the stretch, that's your game. And I just love when he gives the here we go, you kind of get goosebumps because it's like that is an opportunity for the play-by-play guy to be like, hey, here we go. This is going to be special for us right now. So a really cool deal. A lot of fun. Scotty, anything on that right there? I mean, we've gone through a lot of topics. I haven't even been able to pick your brain yet.
No.
Okay.
It was great. Classic.
Classic. Okay, so
I've pulled up the story.
Okay. All right, so let's go.
If you
okay.
want to get into it.
So, by the way, I haven't even mentioned this, Cowboys fans. We got Paul Catalina coming up at 10:30.
Heck yeah.
The great Paul Catalina, a comedian, a sports savant, a sports historian, right? A Dallas Cowboys insider. And let me tell you something. The guy he's just a great orator of the English language. Can't wait to get Paul in here. But let's get to Jeff Ulbrich and his son. Here's the story.
Yeah, here's the story from ESPN. The NFL has fined the Atlanta Falcons $250,000 and defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich $100,000 in response to the prank call made to Shadur Sanders during the NFL draft. Ulbrich's 21-year-old son admitted to the prank call and apologized on Instagram. The Falcons said in a statement Sunday that Jax Ulbrich wrote down the number from his father's open iPad while visiting his parents' home to later conduct the prank call. The NFL said the fines are for failing to prevent the disclosure of confidential information distributed to the club in advance of the NFL draft.
I mean, I can tell you what my dad would have done. It would not have been pretty.
Nope.
It would not. It would not have been pretty.
Nope.
I mean, so you're talking about a kid who's in college. If you're the kid, right? You just have to. You really got to own it, and you got to own it. And you got to just whatever's coming your way. That's it. That's what's coming your way.
Yeah.
I mean, depending on what type of parents you have, you made an epic mistake. I did a lot of crazy stuff when I was a kid. I don't know that I would have had the balls the size of church bells to do that, to prank call I don't know. Knowing my history, there would have had to been many beers involved,
And there might have been. Likely were.
Yeah. I mean, a co-ed, right? A young guy. But, I mean, I initially, I think it's okay. I mean, I really do. I think the fine is okay. The team didn't do anything to Ulbrich. Yeah, they said they wouldn't. And so the team not doing anything. It's the same thing with the Pacers, by the way, and the Haliburton situation. The Pacers probably aren't going to do anything, but the NBA will. And a lot of times it's up to the league to come down and smack these guys around a little bit, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, I think I would want to commend the Atlanta Falcons in this situation, by the way. I know that it's a big money league, but $250,000 is $250,000. That's a pretty hefty fine to put on the team.
Yeah.
For, like you said, a mistake a college kid made. So I think to get behind Ulbrich and keep him on staff, that's a lot of grace, I think, in a world where we're quick to just cut people off and let them go,
Yeah.
So applause for me for the Atlanta Falcons for how they've conducted it. But yeah, kind of a bizarre situation. But now, I mean, here's what this fine does too, though. Every single coach in the NFL this week is having a conversation with their kids to say, hey, dad's job is a big deal. You do not ever look through my stuff and use my stuff for your entertainment,
And I will say this too. This was I don't know what my dad would have done. Honestly, at that age, I was in college. I don't know that it would have gotten physical, but it might have, because this is like that big.
Yeah.
Like there may have been like, and again, I was, and at that point in time, I was involved with football. I was football, so I was like probably bigger than my dad, but I was always scared of my dad.
Yeah,
so
right.
there would have been there would have been this. There would not have been any other type of move.
Yeah, I have a father who's been very, very gracious towards me when I've made mistakes.
Yeah.
But what this would trigger in him would be like, this was my responsibility, my work, my confidential information from the NFL.
Yeah.
So now you've actually stepped on my stuff, right?
Yeah.
This isn't just a mistake you made for you.
Yeah.
You know, again, frankly, my dad in my life, when I've made mistakes that affect me, he's been very gracious and supportive and helpful. But when it's a mistake that now it's costing you at your job, oh, buddy, like that's where it would have gotten.
It's pretty interesting today.
Spooky.
What we're talking about. We're talking about a father embarrassing a son with the Pacers. And a son embarrassing a father with the NFL. And it shows. And
by the way, we didn't get to it because you didn't ask me, but that's okay. Giannis and Tyrese, I thought both post-game handled it with every ounce of class and chill.
And the same thing with Shadur, right? I mean, these are not purposely, but these are kind of opportunities for people to show who they really are. And Shadur was like, I'm not worried about it.
It's just
that's negative. Let's keep it moving. And so that was the first real thing about Shadur where you're like, oh, that's pretty cool. This is like, this guy he does kind of vibrate on a different level. We know that because of his spirituality and his confidence and, his faith. So that was pretty cool to see that. I think with the Haliburton deal, you feel bad because it's his father. Again, it's like Shooter from Hoosiers.
Yeah.
I think with the Olbrich deal, you kind of want the kid to get his.
Yeah.
You're like, you don't necessarily feel bad for Jeff Olbrich. You're just kind of like, all right, that kid's he's about to get what's coming to him. I would imagine if he doesn't, that family's got a problem I can't solve. But what do I know about parenting? I don't have any kids, so I'm not really not inclined to delve into those waters. But I can say, in my house, there would have been a come to Jesus.
Yep.
For sure. All right, we got Paul Catalina coming up in the bullpen. We'll take a nice break here, and we'll come back. We are rolling on the Pete Sousa Show, presented by Slovacics. We've talked about a lot of stuff this week, and we've dipped our toe in the Dallas Cowboys draft, but let's go all the way in the water. Nobody else to dive into the water with than Paul Catalina. Coming back on the other side of this break. Pete Sousa Show, presented by Slovacics.
For 75 years, Nalgene Outdoor has been your trusted companion, fueling adventures and helping protect the planet. We're committed to reducing waste, improving access to clean water, and providing simple, safe, and sustainable products for you and your family. No gimmicks, just durable, well-designed bottles built to last. Join us in our mission to amplify life, not complicate it. Because at Nalgene, what goes into our bottles matters as much as the adventures they fuel. Explore more at nalgene.com. That's NALGENE.com. Looking for tickets to the hottest shows, games, and events? Ticket Liquidator is your one-stop shop for great prices, no hassles, and guaranteed tickets. Since 2003, we've been connecting buyers and sellers, providing access to sold-out events at prices lower than most secondary market options. Whether it's sports, theater, or concerts, our massive nationwide network ensures you get the tickets you want, guaranteed. For the best seats at the biggest events, start with Ticket Liquidator today at ticketliquidator.com. That's TICKETLIQUIDATOR.com. Ticket Liquidator.
I'm Hunter, the founder of Hello Cake, and today we're digging into ED meds. The number one thing we hear is that guys are sick of waiting for ED meds to kick in. Traditional ED meds take about an hour to kick in as they have to go through your digestive system, where Hello Cake's ED medication dissolves under your tongue and works in about 15 minutes. That's about 3 times faster than traditional ED medication. Curious about ED meds? Go to hellocake.com.
InMotion is more than just a name. It's a legacy of innovation. From supplying electric vehicle parts like motors and inverters since the 1960s to creating cutting-edge electric scooters, hoverboards, and unicycles, InMotion is shaping the future of mobility. Whether you're looking for industrial power solutions or accessible personal transport, InMotion has you covered. Explore our products and experience the future of movement. Visit store.inmotionworld.com today.
Is your Mac running slow? Mac Booster 8 is your all-in-one solution to clean up 20 types of junk files, remove malware and viruses, and protect your device. It also optimizes your Mac's hard disk, fixes disk permission issues, and cleans memory, all to boost your Mac's performance to the max. Get your Mac running like new again with Mac Booster 8. Visit macboost.net today.
Finding a sleep sack that my baby likes has been a struggle. The sleep sack from Joy is a major upgrade. It's all natural eucalyptus, which is breathable and hypoallergenic, which is really great for your baby's sensitive skin. And it's made with Climatac, which regulates your baby's temperature. You can also get Joy's crib sheets, which are made of the same super soft material. Joy gave my baby comfort and gave me peace of mind.
At Mapiful, we believe in celebrating your journey, past, present, and future. Our unique personalized products are designed to boost your confidence, elevate creativity, and honor what matters most. From custom home decor to meaningful gifts, we help you cherish the memories that make you who you are. Visit mapiful.com and start celebrating your story today.
Maud Lily is your go-to for stylish and affordable fashion that fits your life. Whether you're looking for the perfect swimsuit for a beach day, a chic dress for a night out, or cozy tops for everyday wear, Maud Lily has it all. Their extensive collection of swimwear, including bikinis, tankinis, and one-pieces, always keeps you on trend, while their dresses and tops come in flattering styles for every occasion. Visit maudlily.com today.
Catalina's Cowboys Corner. That's the name of the show. Paul, we're kind of bum rushing you here. You're live already. You ready?
Yeah, no, I got you.
Look at this guy. He's literally like, you know, we can go back into Baylor players past. He's like Vinnie Johnson, dude.
Yeah.
He's a microwave. You just tap him on the shoulder and there he is.
Absolutely. Look, you call Pete, I'm going to be there. Bottom line. Let me actually face the camera. I've got this new home studio set up and I'm not used to this yet. The camera's right here and I'm looking at it right now and it's like I don't want to like twist it during the thing because I want some quality here, but now I'm tempted to look at the monitor. Look, this is this TV stuff, right? The TV stuff
and I love the breakdown from you.
Yeah, you know it because I know there's plenty of times in your career as a sports and news anchor where you want to look over here. Like your brain is telling you look over here, but the red light's over here and you're like I can't, like you're fighting your brain. Like I'm, my co-anchor's talking.
Your brain almost breaks. And yeah. I know the home, like the home setup, the hotel room setup is like something that should be far easier than it is. And you tell yourself the night before it's going to be no problem.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Like, that'll take 5 minutes. And then in the morning, you're like, oh my God, this isn't going the way.
Yeah. No, I'm working on a 3-camera setup here eventually, which, I just want it to look cool. I want to be one of those like 18-year-old streamers who plays video games and like when they, they can just change camera. Yeah. That's what I want to be.
That is legitimately Catalina's Cowboys Corner, which is
exactly
what you're in right now. And we want to tap into that knowledge because we've been talking a lot about the draft, unfortunately. Like a lot of people, we've been talking a lot of Shadur. It is what it is. But when we talk about the Cowboys draft, I think one of the things that I was most impressed with was the fact that we're not really talking much about their draft, which means it was pretty good from soup to nuts.
Yeah. Oh, and thank you to Scotty for putting this up for me because for the life of me, I've not been able to remember the Maryland defensive tackle's name. I just haven't. Tommy Aking Besote, but
I was gonna say, now say
it. Yeah. Look, it took me long enough yesterday doing a top 5 on Donovan Ezeraku.
Yeah, Ezeraku job.
Yeah. So no, I actually for Donovan Ezeraku, I had to watch like 9 different YouTube videos before someone actually said his name. And
I love that. Yeah,
because like all these
amateurs. I'll just call them amateurs. We're like, Donovan easy. I'm like, oh, quitter, you know. So yeah, no. I like the Cowboys draft class. I don't love it, and which is fine. And look, I don't know if they were really in a position, especially because they traded the 4th round pick for Jonathan Mingo to get an alpha dog starting running back like Cam Scatteraboo, who is my favorite player in the draft that went in the 4th round. Like, had they been in the 4th round, they can get someone like that. They didn't, but I do like the Jaden Blue pick in that he can be explosive, be that kind of Tony Pollard that they don't have anymore. He's a very good player. He has a bit of fumbleitis sometimes, but that's what the coaches are for, to coach it out of him. But overall, they didn't do anything dumb, which is a huge step forward for the Cowboys. They didn't do anything dumb.
Let's start at the top.
Yeah.
So Tyler Booker, what was your overall feeling about the draft, that drafting, and do you see him fitting in right away? Plug and play.
Oh, yeah. And look, this is a Saban guy, big, powerful, strong, really smart, really focused on getting there and getting right and getting, the playbook and knowing it. He's replacing a first ballot Hall of Famer in Zach Martin. He's well aware of that. He's ready for the challenge. And because, look, this is a Saban guy. You want to draft, you know what the Eagles do? They draft Saban guys and Kirby Smart guys, and they play them right away. Or Kirk Ferentz guys like Cooper DeJean, and they play them right away because those guys have been coached up right. So when you take, a dude that played for Nick Saban and also got to play for Kalen DeBoer, who's also brilliant, and at 12, I have no problem with that. I had no idea what they were going to do once Teteroa McMillan was off the board. My first 2 choices, which I assume were their first 2, were Ashton Genty and Teteroa McMillan. I didn't think Ashton Genty was going to get there. I thought McMillan would, and then the Panthers came in and kind of ruined that whole vibe. But it does make sense for them what they did. But I do like the Tyler Booker pick because when you look between 12 and honestly 45 in this draft, the minuscule data points of, well, this guy's better than this guy. It's all about what you need and what's the best. And taking a guard at 12 is kind of a reach, but when it's the best guard probably in the draft, and a guy who is huge and big and strong and ready to go and played at Bama, I think you can take some of those little but he's a guard, things out of it.
I want to ask you about Donovan Ezeraku, and as we get into this, I want to ask you another question. But let me stick to Ezeraku. Give that pick a grade.
That's an A+. That's their best overall pick, and they did. That pick, they did something really smart because at 44, there was a lot of stuff going on around them. They could have kind of, fallen into the trap of let's get our 4th round pick back and I think what they did was, because they did like Donovan Ezeraku, they had him in for a 30 visit. They said, look, if one of our 30 visit guys is sitting there at 44, we'll take them, that we had graded in this spot. If one of our, if they're not, then maybe they trade out of it and pick up that 4th round pick or whatever they would get again. They just stayed pat. Donovan Ezeraku was there. They took him. When you look at young pass rushers that they have, Micah Parsons is still young, and he's the best player on defense in the NFC. You put in Donovan Ezeraku, who immediately can at least come in on passing downs. You have Sam Williams coming back from injury, who looked like he was taking step forward before he got hurt. Marshawn Nealon, who they drafted last year, they really like. Then you bring back Dante Fowler, the veteran whose job is go get the quarterback, and did a really good job for him 2 years ago. I do like that. I like that a lot. And it just fits with, what they need and what they do, on defense. Although I know it will be different under Matt Eberflus. Matt Eberflus, before he was a very, very bad head coach, was an elite defensive coordinator. So I am happy about that, about Matt Eberflus being back. When he was the Cowboys linebackers coach, I remember we interviewed him at camp one time, and after he walked off, Rod Marinelli walked by and said, like, that guy's going to be the best DC in the league one day. And so I trust everything Rod Marinelli's ever said in the world. So and I believe he was great with the Colts, and I think he can be great with the Cowboys again at DC.
When you look at this class, that is very high praise, by the way. When you look at this class, I think one of the concerns heading in for Cowboys fans and people who are analyzing it were, who can come in and play right away? How many starters do you think they got out of this?
I think they have I'm going to say 2.5, maybe 3. We'll call it 3 if you combine Jaden Blue as a half and Siobhan Ravel as a half, depending on how healthy he is. Shamar James, that's a position of need. Cornelius, Toaya, Mafa, Tommy the King. That's what I'm going to call him. I'm going to be lazy. Yeah. But those guys are all, projects or long-term things, although Jay Chawaya I've heard a lot of really good things about. And look, Clemson's in the ACC, so I watched them quite a bit, and Phil Maffa can get you a first down. I'm not sure what he is past that in the NFL, but he can get you a first down. So I'll call it 3 out of the first 4 picks, even though that, like, if Siobhan Ravel is going to start on PUP, although they think he'll be ready for camp. Jaden Blue, year 1 is not going to be their alpha running back. He's going to probably help them make some plays, but they'll have those top 4 picks will contribute regularly.
What does this make you? Does this draft make you more optimistic for the season, or does it make you still have a lot of caution heading into the season?
Not this immediate season. I think this is a good, a couple years from now, like these guys, when they come into their own, it looks like they'll be all right. But you've got to, the offensive line is very, very young. It's very, very, very young. And then there's all these new coaches and all that. They're just, there's got to be some time to grow. And look, they have 2 massive needs, which have not been addressed yet. And that is starting running back, like the alpha running back. And the veterans they signed, they have a 50-50 shot of making the team. Like Javonte Williams has not had a season in the league where you'd say, this is definitely your starter. He might wind up being their starter, which is, I don't think, a good thing. Miles Sanders, I doubt makes this team because he's been so injured, but maybe he does. He maybe winds up on the practice squad because that's a little bit of a different thing now since COVID in the NFL. But they also, and this is the biggest thing, they don't have a number 2 wide receiver. Like, unless Jonathan Mingo takes a huge step forward or Jalen Tolbert or somebody, the light finally comes on, they don't. And they have a bunch of 3 and 4 guys, which is fine for depth, but you need somebody to take some pressure off of CeeDee Lamb and do something for Dak Prescott, because they have tried to put too much on him for too long and not giving him a running back that is a true alpha dog, which Rico Dowdle was not. He was fine. But not giving a true alpha dog running back and a true number 2 wide receiver is absolute malpractice by the front office, and they should be ashamed that they're doing it. But, they're the Jones family. They have no shame.
Will they do something?
I think there's some trades out there to be had. I am a little bit intrigued by the possibility of bringing back Amari Cooper on a 1-year deal. That's a good number 2 receiver. He knows Dak Prescott. Everybody on the team, like, here's the weird thing about Amari Cooper. They didn't get, like, when Hollywood Brown got traded for a 2nd-round pick like a month after him, they gave him away to the Browns for nothing. And then because they were mad because he didn't get the shot. All right, well, okay, that period's over. We can stop worrying about it. Everybody on the team likes Amari Cooper. He was a hard worker. He did all those things, but he had peccadillos, right? And so he's not Aaron Rodgers crazy. He just didn't, get the shot. So if you bring him in, I'm okay with that for a year, but like, it does need to be dedicated. And there were rumors, because the former Jets running back coach is now the Cowboys running back coach, that they were trying to make some moves for Breece Hall. If that happens, that would be amazing. That's a great fit in a double tight end offense, like it appears that they're going to run. But I don't know. Like Jerry saying substantive trades is akin to me to him, well, gosh, my glasses got caught there. That was weird. But him saying like, oh, I'm all in, like it's not, he's all in, lose me with that. Like when you do it, then we'll talk about it. But they have about 3 years before Dak's ineffectiveness and age like collide. So right now they've got Dak at probably the most maximum efficiency that they're ever going to have him. So they might as well like go all out and try to win with Dak. That's what they never did for Tony Romo, and they've not done it for Dak Prescott because they're building it for a future that's been 29 years. And then you go back to the Brian Schottenheimer press conference. You got Stephen Jones saying so-called drought, buddy. It's not so-called. It ain't raining. It hasn't rained. It's a drought. Like the ground's cracking. There's cactus popping up and tumbleweeds. You are in the desert, bro. Like the fans are thirsty. They want water. Give them some water. And it's all building for this future that will never come when how it works in the NFL with the salary cap now, which they didn't have when they won their 3 Super Bowls is, you know what? Sometimes you luck into like luck and skill and all that with Patrick Mahomes, and you don't really have to, you've got this magic man back there. But if you have a guy who's good but not great at quarterback, what you do, like the Rams did when they got Matthew Stafford, is you put the pedal to the floor, you get everything you can around him, you win a championship, maybe 2 if it works out that way, and then, you let it fall apart and you build back again. But they have just... they've stayed in the middle, and there's nothing more despicable in sports than being stuck in the middle. Be bad or be good. Ricky Bobby
are the only organization in pro sports aside from the Yankees or the Lakers who can be middle of the road and still command interest.
Yes,
I almost feel like they take advantage of us on that.
Yeah, they absolutely do.
For Paul, I can tell you're lathered up over there. Where did you get in?
Yeah, let me jump in here. So, because I think Bear the Truth and I have the same thought here as Paul was talking about surrounding Dak with talent and trying to take advantage. I think Paul said something like Dak's at his peak efficiency right now. Paul, I'm a noted Dak hater. I've been on that anti-Dak train for a while, but Bear the Truth also commented, hot take, Dak's best years are ahead?
No. No, that's not what I meant. Dak is at the best efficiency you're ever going to get him again right now. Like, it's not going to get better as it goes along. So, 2 years ago, he had an MVP caliber season. So you're still in the afterglow of that a little bit. So if you can stay in the afterglow of Dak just a bit, and put people around him. Because look, Scotty, I understand that that there are Dak haters out there, but what we have to come to grips with is he's the quarterback for the next 3 years. Like, that's not going to change barring a catastrophic injury. So they can't do anything about that. Now, 3 years from now, if it doesn't work out, he's probably gone, and they move on, and Dak does the, series of one-year deal things, going to play for teams like Russell Wilson. That's what'll happen. But if they can win with, he's good enough to win a Super Bowl. When you look at, not every quarterback who's won is Brady or Mahomes or Roger Staubach.
I agree, Scotty. Don't give Paul the side. I agree, Paul.
You can win. Like, Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl, Scotty. Brad Johnson won a Super Bowl. Mark Rippon won a Super Bowl.
But Paul, the argument would be, and I've had people come back at me like the same way, that was 30 years ago. That was 20 years ago. Really.
Nick Foles just did it too.
Okay. There we go. You know why Nick Foles won? I was at that game, Scotty. You know why Nick Foles won it? Because that team of Eagles was superb around him. And Carson Wentz would have won it if not Nick Foles. Both those guys are average at best.
Right.
So,
Paul, your point about a mediocre quarterback winning the Super Bowl is taken. I just see Dak actively losing playoff games and get off. But
guess who else did that? And I bet you like him, don't you?
I know exactly what he's going to say.
I bet you you're a Romosexual, aren't you?
A big time.
He was the same kind of shitty. I mean, he was like, he was the same kind. Like he would go and like do the same things Dak does.
The primary difference is Tony Romo has some of the best fourth quarter numbers in NFL history. That's okay.
Yeah.
We're not
He also dropped a snap in Seattle. He also cost them getting into the playoffs more than one time. He also only won one playoff game. Fourth quarter.
Wait. He only won one playoff game, and then he had one stolen by officials. But it's
okay. Wait, look, the thing is, what's the record say, Scotty? So Tony Romo and Dak Prescott are the same, and the Cowboys refuse to go all out to help both of them because their strategy when things hit the ground are, well, quarterback, go save us. Well, if the quarterback isn't Patrick Mahomes, that doesn't work. So you have to build around him. Look, Jalen Hurts, I'm a huge Jalen Hurts guy, but he is not a superstar quarterback. He's really, really good, and he's got really good skill set. But you know what the Eagles have done? They put the best offensive line in football around him. They gave him Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown and Dallas Goedert and Saquon Barkley and all of that. And that's a team they have to play twice a year in their division. And what do? They don't even go half the way that the Eagles do to make it work. So that's the problem. Like, Dak's the quarterback. You can win with a quarterback with Dak's skill set. He's better than most. I'd rather have Dak Prescott for multiple years than Jeff Hostetler that the Giants had or Nick Foles or Carson Wentz. Dak's not a head case. He's a good dude. The team rallies around him. Yes, he has his limitations, but if you build around him to take away from those limitations and don't put it always on him, then you'll have a chance. But until they actually do that, they won't.
Okay, Paul, one more thing. Scotty, do you have anything else?
I did have one more thing.
All right, go ahead.
I was just, Paul, you mentioned Amari Cooper. So I'm kind of with you on, like, I went on a viral rant here on this show about how pissed I was about the Jonathan Mingo trade. Like, I can't stand what that receiver room looks
Viral's
like.
pushing it.
Yeah, I would say. Go ahead.
Okay, so besides Amari Cooper, who else is legitimately out there that the Cowboys can make a play for? Is there any other names that they might be looking at?
If you're talking about free agency, nothing would get you excited, right? If you're talking about trades, then, Tyreek Hill could be out there, like that, all of that. Like, some days he's a Dolphin for life. Other days he's mad. So you really don't want Tyreek Hill for more than a year or two. Maybe he's impregnated too many women in Miami and needs to start in a new city. I don't know. But like, that's a possibility. There's a lot of possibilities when it comes to trade. As far as free agency goes, like, Amari Cooper's the other one that, they could go and sign on a 1-year deal, very cap friendly, and that's better than everybody else that they have that could be a legit number 2 receiver, although his last couple years has been kind of spotty. But outside of that, just, they're going to have to make a trade, which I would rather them do, because I would rather see the less need thing of like, F them picks and let's be aggressive and see if we can do in a couple years.
All right, last question, Catalina.
Okay.
You've given us way more than we bargained for, and I so appreciate it. This is awesome. All right, we're a year from next year's draft.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to grab that crystal ball of yours. I want you to look inside, and I want you to tell me where Sawyer Robertson is getting taken.
He's in the top 20. I think he's in the top 20. You've got a guy who's 6'3", 225 about. He runs well. He's not a scrambling quarterback, but he runs well. He escapes the pocket well. He's a really good passer. If the development continues under Jake Spavital, which I have no reason to believe that it won't, I think he's in the top 20. I think the Big 12 will have 2 to 3 first-round quarterbacks next year if Sam Levitt and Josh Hoover come out.
Look at you. Okay.
Yeah. The Big 12, pound for pound, best quarterback conference in the country, school for school this year. Over the SEC, over the Big 10. They've got more returners. Watch how much fun Utah's going to be this year with Devin Dampier. Watch them. Like, they're going to be super fun to watch with him in that offense. So, Connor Wegman at Houston, just talked to Willie Fritz yesterday. Really excited about that. I think that there's a lot of guys that could be really, really fun in this league. And Avery Johnson, Jalen Daniels, they're both back. Like, it's going to be a very interesting quarterback year in the league.
Catalina's corner. He says, get off it, baby. I love it. Paul,
Yeah.
thank you so much. 365 Sports, you can catch him today. Also, don't forget about the triple option.
This is the
Catalina-
last triple option in its current format for a couple months. We have to change the name. Urban Meyer defeated us, but it will be back after we retool. So,
all right, we're going to have you back, if not next week, the week after. I love your little setup. It's perfect, Paul.
Anytime, Pete.
Thank you so much for the time, for real, dude. Thank you.
All right, bud.
All right, that's Paul Catalina. Dude, legendary. Legendary. See, we had Catalina on before, and the circumstances were kind of screwed up. Let's go. Let's go. You talk about plug and play. That's your boy, just like Booker right there.
You know why I like Paul is he can match my energy.
Oh, he's great.
Like he doesn't take my because I get the passionate fan thing going, right, and say outrageous stuff, and Paul just comes right back at me. That I knew, dude, when he started going down that Tony Romo hole, I knew I had to shut up. I was like, you're right. He said, you're a Romosexual. I said, yeah, guilty, accused. Yep.
All right, I'm a Romosexual too. We're going to take a break. Slovacics makes this whole thing happen. Thanks to them, we'll be back to wrap it up.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. That's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down to afterwards, was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
I don't know, if Bubble wasn't here, I don't know what people would be doing, like making PowerPoints or something. Bubble allows you to make it real and for it to actually work. So I feel like Bubble bridges that gap and being able to give people the opportunity to make their ideas come to life really quickly too. I love that I can sit down and build something the way that I think it should be built and have the control over it.
Bubble turns ideas into fully scalable apps. Try Bubble today.
Hi, I'm Jo from Face Theory. You're going to want to have a specific goal for your skincare routine. What do you want to achieve? Active ingredients are really strong, and if you're using too many at once, your skin can get overwhelmed. Don't overspend on products. Choose products that have scientific research behind them. At Face Theory, if you're not happy with a product, just say so, just give us a shout and we'll give you your money back, no problem.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone and then you're gonna use the Kodak Photo Print app. It's going to print you a 4x6 photo. I am just in awe. I love how these turned out. Also, the printer comes with a free cartridge of 10 photo sheets. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
Streamline event and appointment booking with Amelia's sleek, modern, and fully customizable booking forms. Tailor the colors, fonts, and design to match your brand and seamlessly integrate with your WordPress website. Whether it's for events or appointments, Amelia makes booking simple, stylish, and perfectly aligned with your business. Enhance your booking experience today at WPAmelia.com. That's WPAMELIA.com. Amelia.
When you learn a language with Babbel, you start a journey that takes you further and further. Anytime and anywhere you wish. It's easy and fun. Broadens your horizons and keeps your brain fit. A journey into new thoughts, new cultures, new adventures. So what are you waiting for? Start your journey with Babbel now. Go to babbel.com or download the app.
BadCreditLoans.com is a pioneering service provider that has carved a reputation in the financial industry for its dedication to helping individuals with bad credit secure loans. By making timely repayments, borrowers can gradually repair their credit history, thereby increasing their chances of securing better loan terms in the future. BadCreditLoans.com serves as a beacon of hope for those with bad credit. Simple, fast, and reliable loan application process. And its commitment to responsible borrowing makes it a trusted partner in the journey towards financial stability.
All right, the Pete Sousa Show. We are wrapping up today. Just give a look ahead tonight. NBA, Warriors and Rockets, 6:30 p.m. Warriors are a 5.5-point underdog or a 4.5-point underdog. So that's in Houston. Golden State leads the series 3-1. Interesting. Kind of like the Warriors in that one. And then later on tonight, 9 p.m., by the end of the first quarter, I'll be drooling on my pillow. But that's not true. Maybe I will watch. Timberwolves and Lakers. Lakers a 6.5-point favorite. So the NBA, or at least I shouldn't say the NBA, but the odds makers feel like both these series will be extended. The Pistons extending their series last night with the Knicks. Props to my man JB Bickerstaff. If the Pistons can get one more, let's see. I do want to check out that schedule. So that Pistons game, that'll be Thursday night and 6:30, which is great, right? Early start for us. And then if the Pistons can win that game, which right now they're a favorite, 1.5-point favorite, then we get Pistons-Knicks Game 7 on Saturday. Let's go! A Game 7 from the Garden? Forget the fact that I put 200 on the Pistons before the series at 3-1. But, yeah, it's one game at a time, right? One show at a time, too. We'll be back tomorrow. Randy Galloway going to join us, talk about the Texas Sports Hall of Fame, talk about the Cowboys, and maybe dish a little bit about Matt Mosley. I know those two spent a long time together doing talk radio in Dallas. But thanks to Paul Catalina today, of course, Slovaceks, and all our sponsors. Thanks for everybody checking us out. We've been going live on X and getting, what do we got, like 2,000 people right now? So fun to subject all of you to our party here coming live from Central Texas. I do rap awfully long, don't I? Watch the Cam Show next. We'll see.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at 70 miles an hour. I was injured, had a concussion. The insurance company, they delayed. They were playing games from the initial conversation. They weren't going to help me. The biggest thing I learned through this is that you can't go through this alone. I called Daniel Stark. They were going to help me, and everything was going to be all right. Daniel Stark got me 10 times the insurance company offered.
The difference is Stark.
We are Rogue Media Sports.